Hello again, and it's time to continue reading from Adeline's diary. I apologize if there are any noises or talking from outside. The boys are working on the front door thing, and that's right below this room. But I didn't feel like trying to find another room, so hopefully they will keep it down. I might have to cut once in a while. So that's that. That will explain any jumping around if there is any. So, all right. I also have to keep an eye on things because something happened with my audio last time at some point. I think it has to do with my phone being too full, and I've really been working on this, but can't afford a new phone at the moment, so I just have to delete some apps and photographs. Anyway, let's get started. We left off in April. It is April 1st, 1929. All right. And my little sticky bookmarks, which I regret using. Yes, I must get a different kind. And now they've been in here for a little while. To carefully get that off, I am not so smart. I was made happy today on receiving an announcement of Mary's marriage to John G. Short, which read, Mr. and Mrs. John J. Peace announce the marriage of their daughter, Mary Maudlin, to Mr. John G. Short on Saturday, the 23rd of February, 1929. Chicago, Illinois. At home after April 1st, 4011 North Lowell, apartment 2 West. It's all scratched out and I can't really quite read that letter. I feel that God has answered my prayers, and I pray that He will bless their union. Ed and I took dinner at the Latham Hotel. Tuesday, April 2nd. I'm initiating a new cook today. At breakfast, she served the grapefruit cut lengthwise, bacon cooked to a crackling, and eggs fried hard. Coffee weak. Oh my. Wrote a letter to Maud, although she has not answered the one I wrote her several weeks ago. Dina and I went to the H&L Club, that's the History and Literature Club, and I went over to see Bailey, whose mother died last night. April 3rd, I had an interesting day at the cabin, working in my orchard, yard, and flower beds, but I'm worn to a frazzle. I wish I had the strength to do the many interesting things I want to do, but alas and alack, old age must be respected. Ed, Johnny, Catherine, and I went to the cabin. Catherine washed, Johnny and I worked in the yard. In the afternoon, Ed and I fished, caught 4. Catherine objected to staying and cooking dinner on our return home, and once more I was forced, with Johnny's help, to prepare a meal after a hard day's work. Cooks are as uncertain as life. Is Catherine the name of the cook? It's been a while since I've read. So let's see. No. Monday, April 8th. Lloyd, Gladys, and I went to Bethel College to get some shrubs that Mrs. Gaines gave me, thence to town to select an electric refrigerator and a bridal present for Mary. I sent her a Chinese banquet cloth and napkins. This afternoon we all went fishing. Tuesday, April 9th. It rained all day and we had a quiet day at home. Gladys is so different from what she used to be. She is peevish, selfish, and exacting. Okay, this is an interesting entry. Come on, slow. Because Gladys read this diary. I guess she gave it to Gladys. I don't know. She read this diary and responded. Okay. I'm going to read it. Okay. P.S. It's quite a blow to be handed one's diary to read and come across a statement as you see recorded above. For the family to read after one's planted beneath the sod, that this isn't the first time I ever heard these 3 hurtful words. They were what I was accustomed to, but I've learned to forgive and forget since Jesus came into my heart. And what is this? Pray for those who speak hatefully about me. She gave me permission to write in this book. She'll have a chance to read what I think. And when all is said and done, remember I can take it with my chin up, Gladys. So she gave her this diary. How did I miss that? She'll have a chance to read what I think. So she gave her the diary before she died and read that. Okay. I hope they made up. Oh my goodness. How did I miss that? I thought she wrote that after she died and then passed it on, but I'm so confused. I'm so pissed at these. They stick. Oh, this is so bad. Oh. All right. Thursday, April 11th. I've been so absorbed and busy that I have not had time to read my scripture lesson. No cook, spring cleaning, flowers and garden, and fishing, all urging me. Truly, life is interesting and exhausting. Yes, it is. Skip around. April 15th. I feel so well. Went to town shopping. Flowers and house cleaned. I had such a darling letter from Mary. She seemed so happy and deeply interested in her home. I read and reread it. At last my prayers have been answered. April 18th. Darn these. Should I steam them off or something? This is terrible. Really don't like this. I thought these were supposed to be, for documents and whatever, so you could just take them off. But they're difficult. Can't reuse them either. Ed and John and I went fishing in afternoon. Had a General Electric refrigerator installed. Had 4 callers and trying to clean house and plant flowers. Could not go to the garden club. Refrigerator. April 22nd. Oh, it's about a cook. Come on. So sorry. I didn't know these would be such a hassle. Anyway, last about that. A cook, one Mattie Watkins, came this morning. It was a great relief for me to swing back into my old way. I can now look over my clothes and get things in order, darn stockings, and 1,000 things I want to do outdoors. But house cleaning is on hand, and I can't altogether find my way out yet. Yeah. Yes. April 24th. I hear the voice outside. Oh dear. Oh. I had my servants begin the cleaning of the living room. I declined to go to the H&L Club that I might oversee the cleaning. Exhausted, I retired at 7:30. 44 years ago, while I was in school in Moegua, Illinois? Oh no, I forget. I can't. I played the part of Kate Silverleaf in a drama entitled The German Baron. I recall how happy and carefree I was those days with my little sweetheart, Pete Kirkman. Pete, if you're out there. Friday, April 26th. Had living room curtains washed and hung. Ed came home and we played bridge with the Oldhams. Did they come up before? They play bridge a lot with the Oldhams. I might have a lead on who they are. I like doing this research. I might have found like their granddaughter online or daughter. I'm not really sure. It'd be pretty fun to find somebody, but have not yet. Sunday, April 28th. Oh, come on, you can do it. Did not go to church. I feel the need of a day of rest. Drove out to the cabin with the Mackenzies at 5 p.m. to get Ed's false teeth that he left yesterday. Monday, April 29th. Began cleaning the library and dining room. It is nerve-wracking to superintend the house cleaning. Okay, into May. Finished cleaning library and dining room. Mrs. Stone and I went out to see the Bethel College parade of 16 floats representing as many states. Had a card from Gladys and Lloyd, who are on their way to Newark, New Jersey. Thursday, May 2nd. I think I might have figured out kind of how to do this better with my fingernail. We finished waxing the floors downstairs and began Okay, I'm just going to try to figure that out later. And began cleaning upstairs. Mrs. Stone came for me and we went to the garden club. I made a talk on gladioli and dahlias. Ed came home at 5:15. Ed, Johnny, and I went fishing. Maddie remained at home and house cleaned. Was that her name? Maddie? Had card from Gladys. They had arrived at Newark. The Howards brought us another quart of strawberries. I'm going to try steaming them off. I hope that works. It's getting ridiculous. Rained most all night and all day. We finished cleaning upstairs and all but my dressing room. Was asked to make a travel talk at the high school, but declined. She traveled a lot. May 7th, feeling unusually well. Wrote 8-page letter to Maud, called on Grace, went by to see Mrs. Olsley's garden. I don't know. This afternoon, Dina, Mrs. Woodward, and I called on Mrs. Howard. This evening, May called me over to play bridge. I don't know how to play bridge. Ed, the 2 servants, and I spent the day at the cabin and on the lake. I had a Mother's Day card from Mary, which touched me very much. She is beginning to realize that I have been a mother to her, and have stuck to her through thick and thin. May 12th. I walked to church this morning. The services were very impressive. Ed and I walked to the Latham Hotel, where we had 6 o'clock dinner, and from there to the M.E. Church to hear Reverend Davis, missionary in the Congo, preach. May 14th. Such a busy, joyous, useful day I have spent. At 10 a.m., I delivered a travelogue on my jungle trip in Java before the girls' chapel at the high school. And at 10:45, I told the history class of my trip to Waikiki Beach. Came back by the polls and voted for the road bond issue. At 2:45 p.m., Mrs. Howard came by, and we went to the closing picnic of the H&L Club at Lake Tandy. It was such a brilliant social affair with charming, intelligent women. I've decided to convert my backyard into a flower garden. Spent the morning setting flowers. Went to tell Mrs. Woodward goodbye. All right, how are we doing recording? Okay, I'd better stop and restart because, as I've said, my camera likes to stop after 20 minutes, so I'm gonna beat it to it. All right, I'm back. To clear a little space on the camera too, but I have 15 minutes and then I have to. All right, let's see what we can get done. Friday, May 17th. Johnny and I were all day finishing the flower bed. I ordered Aquilegia. I don't know these flowers, sorry. Sweet William, I can't. She ordered a lot of plants from S.W. Pike. Ed came and we played bridge with the Oldhams. Yep. I hope I didn't do that. It's like kind of dirty. 18th. This is the 31st anniversary of Mother's death. Maddie, Johnny, Ed, and I went to the lake. Maddie and Johnny cleaned the cabin, waxed the floors, etc. Ed and I went fishing and were caught in a downpour and got soaking wet. I dismissed Maddie Watkins from service. Oh dear, wait. But wasn't she doing okay? Sad. May 19th. Rained and I did not go to church. Ed and I took dinner with the Mackenzies. Willie Cherry, a colored servant who worked for me 20 years ago at Central City, took charge as cook today. May 20th. Ordered more flowers. Mrs. Mosley sent me poppy plants. 49 years ago, I attended my first real ball at Woodville, Ballard County, Kentucky, and danced with my father in the old-time square dance. The music was furnished by Frank Jones String Band of Paducah, and G.B. Dobbins and Doc Moore were the floor managers. So I looked them up. So hopefully over here I'll have a picture of something. If not, sorry. But yeah, they existed. May 21st, Mrs. Howard sent me a bouquet and my Gaillardia plants. And my Gaillardia, I guess she got them from Mrs. Howard. Ed, Johnny, and I went to the lake. They painted the boat. Ed and I fished in the afternoon. This is the 22nd anniversary of our marriage. Skipping because they're just short, not that interesting. May 30th. Mrs. Keith and Mrs. Shanklin called, worked in flower garden. And then she makes a note about 1897. My niece Maggie Ransdell died of tuberculosis. May 31st. Got too warm yesterday and did not sleep well last night. I get sick every time I get in the sun. Ed returned from the automobile races at Indianapolis. Saturday, June 1st. Ed, Billy Barnes, and I spent the entire day on the lake fishing. I went to the garage and got my car. It has been there since the 12th of May being painted. Black, probably. She never mentions what kind of car she has. June 2nd. Cloudy and rained. I may have done wrong this morning in setting out flower slips, but they had been dry ever since Thursday and were ruining. And as I look on flowers as God's angels, I could not let them die. June 3rd. Went to the courthouse with my maid, who is in a lawsuit with her husband over the division of their home. Did some shopping. Met Mrs. Gus Stevens, who was starting back to Florida. Came home and planted 14 different kinds of perennial seed. Took my nap and spent 2 hours working in my flower garden. Yes. Went to the cabin. It is beautiful, surrounded with flowers. Mrs. Herford said of it that it was a dream come true. 12 years ago, 1917, I landed in Washington with Mrs. Elliott's party to attend the United Confederate Veterans Reunion. The city was ablaze with decorations and flowers. The parade was wonderful. I don't know. Went to court with Willie and visited Mrs. Howard in afternoon. I seem to have rheumatism, or else it is rain pains like Mother used to suffer with before rains. 12 years ago, I spent the day in the Smithsonian Institute and Museum at Washington. So yeah, that United Confederate Veterans Reunion, I actually have not looked that up yet. I don't know. June 6th. Spent a busy morning in the garden. Had my archway erected. Called on Mrs. Bradley in the afternoon. Met Ed at train and played bridge till 10. Years ago I visited the Capitol. What is that word? 12? I don't know. 12. Was it 12 before? How many years ago did you say? 12? Yeah, she just spelled it wrong. 12 years ago I visited the Capitol building and saw the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives in session. In the evening, we heard President Woodrow Wilson speak. June 7th. Ed and I went fishing in afternoon. Had a card from Gladys from Newark. Wrote a card to Mary. 12 years ago, I visited Mount Vernon and viewed Washington's tomb. Went to Alexandria, saw the old church where Washington and Lee attended services. Crossed the Potomac River to Fort Myers. Visited Arlington, where we saw the National Cemetery in the beautiful grove of Lee's estate, where we viewed the peerless valley of the Potomac and looked out upon the greatest capital in the world. So she loves her country. June 8th. A rainy day. Suffered with rheumatism. Rested and read most of the day, and in the evening Ed and I played cards with the Mackenzies. 12 years ago, 1917, we visited the New York Chinatown Trinity Church, where among other tombs were the tombs of Robert Fulton and Alexander Hamilton. We walked up Wall Street, saw the Cotton Exchange. The street was narrow and short. On the trip, we also visited Madison Square Garden and the aquarium, which I enjoyed. June 9th, rested all day. 12 years ago, 1917, I was in New York with Mrs. Elliott's excursion party, and she chartered a boat at the Battery and cruised around Manhattan Island, seeing Brooklyn, Jersey City, and the Bronx. The U.S. was preparing to enter the World War, and many battleships, submarines, torpedo boats, and ocean steamers were buoyed in the bay. It was my first view of the Goddess of Liberty. We went up the Hudson River and saw the castles and palaces and the home of Mary Pickford, the tomb of General Grant, passed under the Brooklyn Bridge, past Blackwell Island with the infirmary and the prison in which Harry K. Thaw, I am not familiar, was an inmate at that time, Ward's Island, and the insane asylum. I remember that it was a wonderful trip to me. I'll have to look some of that up. I have been taking notes, and I have not looked everything up yet. I'm very curious. June 10th, Ed and I went fishing in the afternoon and played bridge in the evening. 12 years ago, 1917, I made my first trip to Coney Island. Went in swimming, and the water was extremely cold. That night, as we left New York, the last thing to be seen on the skyline was the Goddess of Liberty, the Butterick pattern sign, and National Biscuit sign. They were keeping the domes of the skyscrapers dark for fear of airship raids. June 11th, took Dina some beets and radishes, and in the afternoon Mrs. Mackenzie and I went fishing. I got too hot and was sick. 12 years ago, 1917, we arrived in Philadelphia. In our sightseeing, we visited Independence Hall, which independence was declared, the home of Betsy Ross, where the first American flag was made, Fairmount Park, the largest municipal park in the world, the tomb of Benjamin Franklin, the home of William Penn. We saw where Poor Richard brought his loaf of bread, etc., etc. Okay. June 14th. This one's a little hard to read, actually. Went shopping, made ice cream in the electric refrigerator, feeling bad and dread to go to a doctor. So I began taking Conjola and medicine highly recommended. A medicine highly recommended. June 15th, we all went to the lake. Ed and I fished, found a letter from Mary on my return, which made me very happy. She seems to be extremely happy, has many friends, and a good time. Good for her. June 17th, planted some perennials, replaced by Pike Road, the daily paper, read the daily paper, New Era. That sounds familiar. And Better Homes and Gardens, a magazine chock full of interesting reading matter. Washed my hair, darned and washed 5 pairs of silk hose. Darn all that hose. I have some things to darn. Friday, June 21st, Ed and I fished all day, literally. 1899, I attended the Democratic State Convention at Louisville, Kentucky. I like it that she kind of goes back in time a little bit, especially since I don't have those diaries. June 22nd, we spent most of the day on the lake. The Oldhams and Howells of St. Louis called at the cabin. Everybody is lavish with their compliments of the cabin and gardens. 23rd, Johnny came to town to attend Sabbath school and church, as he had a record of attendance that he did not want to break, and the rest of us remained overnight. The 24th, still recording here. Sorry, I hear the guys out there. 24th, got up at 4 a.m., came in home and had breakfast. I do not feel well. Perhaps I got too hot on the lake. Had a letter from Franny wanting to come back to work for me. Oh, Franny. There she does, right? Wednesday, June 26th. Spent most of the day lounging and reading and went to see the Vitaphone picture entitled The Broadway Melody. 1899, was in Louisville to see the comic opera entitled Chimes of Normandy. Ta-da! which I did look up. All right. Last one, Sunday, June 30th. Did not go to church. The weather too hot. Motored with the Mackenzies this afternoon. And in 1899, I saw the Bohemian Girl opera while in Louisville. It's interesting what she chooses to include. And is she looking at her old diaries and just doing this? It's very interesting. So we'll stop there because my camera is about to run out of room again. And next time we will start on July. Exciting, exciting. And hopefully I'll have a little more quiet too. Hopefully that wasn't too disturbing. Maybe you can't even hear it. The boys talking out there. But I really wanted to do this today. And I have a bunch of videos I'm excited to work on. So, and diaries. I have 3 more diaries in my possession. 2 I have not read yet. And then 2 more on the way. This is becoming an obsession. I hope you don't mind. I hope you enjoy hearing from these people so long ago and hearing their stories and their words. I really enjoy it. I feel like I'm going to do a lot of this. Unless you hate it. If you hate it, let me know. But otherwise, I kind of want to keep doing it and sharing these old things. I don't know. I always had this thing, even as a kid, passing by old family cemeteries in the bus, just thinking how no one knows who these people are, anything about their lives, anything. And I feel like doing this, I'm kind of helping some people to like live on and be remembered. I mean, maybe they don't even care now, but I don't know. I enjoy continuing people's memories in some way. So I hope you enjoy it too. My camera's gonna die now. So I'll see you later. Bye.